Hi everyone. That I've received, and this could be for anybody, um, or a specific few. But I have been picking up something that I call the burden of guilt, and that we are moving into a different time completely. Throughout the season, the '70s and whatnot, people have been talking about this time that we are in right now. So even though we have not seen this collective judgment on a large scale throughout the years, we have seen it happen, whether that be through different dictators falling down, or certain individuals going to jail, or criminal operations being exposed. It has been happening throughout the years, right? And throughout history. So what's happening now is it's culminating into a very large tower moment for all these different individuals. And what I mean by the burden of guilt is a lot of individuals, they cannot eat, they cannot sleep, they cannot function properly because everything that they have done to you and to others is catching up with them. And these have no, I would say, coins in their spiritual piggy bank because they've worked in such a low vibration that the divine is just like, they've done certain things that there's no coming back from. There are certain things that you can do where in which the divine will not ever deal with you, and there's no amount of repentance or whatnot that can stop that. And this is where we come back into, bringing it back down to the physical plane, where we're talking about akashic records and excision and things like that, wherein when you facilitate certain behaviors, it actually puts tags within your DNA and tags within your akashic records that bind you to specific forms of karma, right? So these individuals now, they're experiencing the burden of guilt because deep within their conscious mind, they are starting to realize that it was not worth it. All the games, all the lies, the cheating, the throwing you under the bus, choosing karma over you, whatever it is, so, and eternal pain, suffering, and karma that they're going to experience. Okay, something that I also want you guys to understand, because a lot of you guys say, "Well, I haven't seen them get their karma. When am I going to see them get their karma?" You guys say, "Oh, I haven't seen them get their karma. When am I going to see them get their karma?" You guys have to also understand that as long as you are an individual who was born on planet Earth through a human being, meaning that you were pushed out of a womb, you have a birth date, which is a numerological sequence consecrated to your birth chart, consecrated to the position of the stars in the sky the day that you were born. You will one day have to see judgment, period. No one can escape judgment. So for the different individuals who've been traumatizing you or scapegoating you or gaslighting you, etc., they're going to get their time. They're already getting their time. They're not happy. A lot of them have addictions. A lot of them are surrounded by people who are just as horrible and low vibrational as them. A lot of them are surrounded by enemies and they don't even know it. They're not happy. You think, oh, they have money, they have this, they have power. They're not happy. Because if they were happy, they wouldn't be engaged in the low vibrational activity. That's what you guys have to understand. It's a change in perspective. So when we're talking about this burden of guilt, you have to understand that eventually what happens is they will run into so much karmic debt that they cannot escape, that they are permanently in hermit mode. They're permanently in the hangman position. They're permanently in that Eight of Swords, whether physically or spiritually or psychologically. So you guys have to understand that and not let it really get to you or bother you. But just know right now, that's the channeling that I'm getting. The burden of guilt is very heavy right now. I'm living my life. Exactly. Another thing that I want you guys to also understand is what I talked about, basically, that the divine is not accepting these individuals and their ability, their repenting and things like that. You guys say, "Oh, God forgives everyone. We're all God's children." Actually, no, we're not. No, we're not. Let's just keep it hella real. Some individuals have descended so low. Their Akashic records are filled with so much trash. They facilitated acts that are unforgivable on planet Earth. That they have permanently been removed from the tree of life. You guys, we've talked about this. We talked about it last night. You have to understand some of these talk about on the macro and a micro level, as above, so below, right? So if you think about in nature, because nature is just literally a physical manifestation of the higher order, the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom. Think about a tree. When certain branches on the tree become weak or they become infected with whatever type mold or whatnot, the tree will actually remove those branches. It will fall off, right? It's the same concept that we talked about with a flower bush, and heads. Because it will start to constrict and change the entire DNA and structure of the rest of the tree. So built-in mechanism to remove the karmic or the infected aspects of that tree. That's what's happening right now. Because you guys have to remember, we're moving into new earth. If you've not been paying attention, we've been having all these planetary alignments. We've been having all these shifts. And right now, a lot of people, they're like, karmic individuals who have no respect for God, no respect for human life. They think that they can just walk through earth doing whatever they want. They're learning right now that there is a higher order, that there is a higher power, and they are being brought to their knees by force, right? Some of these individuals, they've listened to their own mind, which is diseased. They've listened to other people who are just as karmic as them. They're listening to fake spiritual teachers. They have no balance. Because if they were truly in balance, you would understand that freedom isn't free. God gave us free will. Do as you please. As you're here on planet Earth, I give you dominion over the physical plane. But remember, because you are a part of God, right? Your will, aka your wheel, is connected to the Most High. So when you misuse that will, aka that wheel, your chakra centers, your energy centers, to facilitate low vibrational karmic energy, what you're telling God is, fuck you. You gave me free will. I'm going to still do what I want, and I'm not going to get away with it, period. That's why people start to get into dark arts to escape that, but they never can. The karma's always eating that ass. And if you see some of you guys who know what I'm talking about, they look sick. The misuse and abuse of the will is too great. Even the demons that they're trying to work with is like, I can't even fuck with you because you don't even got enough to pay me to stop what's coming to you. Animal sacrifice is not enough. That's why they go gang stalking. That's why they go do energy harvesting. Because the entity that they're tied to is hungry, you see? And when you try to talk common sense to them, or when you put out the reality of what is, they try to shirk it. They ignore it because remember, their mind is diseased, diseased. It's imbalanced. I think there's a quote that says, only fools rely on their own understanding. Yes. That's just like me going out to go sexually assault a woman. If, let's say, I'm a man and I go out and I sexually assault a woman and I think that nothing's going to happen to me for doing that it's okay. Obviously, there's a certain energy consecrated to that behavior for a reason because it's wrong and it's foul, right? So why didn't you think taking someone else's, tampering with someone else's life, trying to cause pain, havoc, and suffering in someone else's life is not the same? Why? Who do you think that you are? Why do you think that you're above God? Tell me. Because clearly the suffering and the burden of guilt that you're going through now, it's a very powerful energy, you guys. Just like happiness is a very powerful energy, just like love is a very powerful energy, just like confidence is a very powerful energy, and faith is a very powerful energy, guilt is a very powerful energy, judgment is a very powerful energy. And these karmics are realizing that now. So I wanted to just stop there because that is a channeling that I had for y'all. Anyways, please stay tuned. 9:30 tonight on Patreon. We're going to be going in talking about the consequences for blood spells. Love spells involving blood spells is going to be very, very, very powerful. And because there's going to be a limited amount of people, I'm sure we're going to have a really powerful Q&A. So thank you all so much for listening. Have a good day. Bye.